Let's do this.
Holy shit.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the one and the only Rumboyz Fantasy Network. It's your boy. I am your host, Rumboyz Robbie, aka the Admiral. And I appreciate you all for getting up here with me on this Sunday afternoon to talk about nothing else other than some football. A Sunday afternoon party. I'm so fucking stoked. I'm so stoked. We're going to be talking about our 2020 top 16 fantasy football wide receivers. Again, our 2020 fantasy football top 16 wide receivers is going to be lit. I'm so ecstatic for this Power Rankings episode. I'm so excited for this episode. One, because, well, the fact that I play receiver is why I broke a lot of these guys down in the manner that I broke them down. So I'm excited to talk about a position that I kind of know a lot about. I know a decent amount about. So super stoked about our 2020 fantasy football top 16 wide receivers. It's a dope list I compiled. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you hanging on the edge of your seat? But before we dive into the list, we do have to dive into some housekeeping. Make sure that you guys check us out over on sportscaster.com. Again, Sportscaster without the E at the end. So, you just put that R right there. Sportscast R. R. Sportscaster.com. Make sure you guys check us out over there. There are also hundreds and thousands of other podcasters over there, so you could always get your color commentary fix for all of your favorite sports. Everything from play-by-play to podcasts, fantasy football tips and tricks, DFS tips and tricks, you name it. We have analysts all over there for you guys. You can pick your favorite analyst. We can cover your games for you. We can get you guys your picks. We can take care of you. You just find someone that's relatable to you over there on sportscaster.com or the Sportscaster app on all iOS devices. That's all Apple devices. And let them know that the Rumboyz sent you whenever you sign up and you go live. Mention the Rumboyz in your stream. And yeah, we appreciate you guys for showing love over there on sportscaster.com and the Sportscaster app. Also, we are pleased to announce a brand new sponsor of the Rumboyz family, of the Rumboyz Fantasy Network team, and that is sportsbetmvp.ag. If you are a fan of our podcast, you're probably betting on sports in some type of capacity, right? In your opinion, you probably have a strong opinion about what's important in regards to a reliable online sports book and casino. Well, there's a new kid on the block. Sportsbetmvp.ag is the place to be. It's for you to get your action on in all the new sports betting seasons. We got NBA. We got MLB. We got NFL coming back here in a couple of weeks, ladies and gentlemen. We got UFC. We just posted about the Indy 500 over there today. We got a whole lot of action happening over at sportsbetmvp.ag. With the industry-leading gambling service and the best customer service the industry offers, Sportsbet MVP state-of-the-art betting interface provides a selection of wagering and odds for players of all levels. Sportsbet MVP has bigger bonuses and lower rollovers than any online sportsbook. They also make payouts fast and easy. Alrighty. Fast and easy. You got to love fast and easy. That means if you lose, you get it back. So sign up for a new account with sportsbetmvp.ag today using the promo code RUMMVP. Again, that is RUMMVP. Rum MVP and get a 125% signing bonus on your first deposit up to $1,000. Wow, that's $1,000. Want more good news? Your first $25 bet is risk-free. This is a new season of sports betting, and it's time to move on from your old tired sports book, to be honest, that you feel stuck with. Join sportsbetmvp.ag today and see why sports betting newcomers and wagering veterans are making the switch to sportsbetmvp.ag, and they are using promo code RUMMVP. Again, that is RUMMVP. Want to shout out really quick here to OKK Lee here on Sportscaster. Thank you for following me, for joining the broadcast. I'm going to follow you by hitting that green button. Hopefully you follow us. We're trying to get to our 700 followers over there on sportscaster.com. Also, I want to shout out monkeyknifefight.com. If you guys have not, head over to monkeyknifefight.com for your DFS action. All my DFS fanatics, get over to monkeyknifefight.com. Utilize promo code Rumboyz. That is RUMBOYZ. Rumboyz. Get over there to monkeyknifefight.com. I'm matching deposits all the way up to $50. Holla, 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 holla. Over there on monkeyknifefight.com. So get over to monkeyknifefight.com. Match your deposits up to $50. We're covering all the action that's back, fresh out of COVID, fresh out of this pandemic, fresh out of quarantine. We got you guys taken care of. Get over there, start winning some cold, hard cash. monkeyknifefight.com, promo code RUMBOYZ, matching you up to $50. Holla, 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 holla. Let's get into talking about some wide receivers. It is Sunday afternoon, and what a beautiful Sunday afternoon it is. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for some football? A Rumboyz afternoon party. Yo, we're about to dive into the list. Ladies and gentlemen, cheers to me. Cheers to you. All the Rumboyz and girls, what it do? Dilly dilly. Shouts to the whole Sportscaster crew. Billy Mann, Leafs, Inside Sports 12, OK Kaylee, Isaac Sports. Dilly dilly to y'all. As usual, for our rankings, YouTube, you guys will be getting this a little bit later. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe if you have not already. I want to know if my list is honestly maybe just a little bit too controversial for you. And if it is, I definitely want you to leave a comment and tell me how you feel. Let's dive right into the list. Ladies and gentlemen, our list begins with formerly known as a Rumboyz rookie. He's just a Rumboyz baller at this point. Big baller, shot caller. Of course, we're beginning the list off with the man that won me not one, but 2 fantasy football championships last year. And that is, drum roll please, A.J. Brown. Ladies and gentlemen, A.J. Brown. Now, I am only rightfully assuming that most people figured that I was going to be picking A.J. Brown. You see the photo from us interviewing A.J. here. A.J. Brown, I mean, what else is there really to say about his 52 reception, 1,051-yard season, 8 TDs, timed 9th for the position, averaging 20.2 yards per catch, second-round pick at the 51 spot to Tennessee. I already knew that the fact that he was going to be going to Mike Vrabel's system, and as hands-on as Mike Vrabel is, that this kid, he was going to blow up. Now, draft position is gonna have draft positions for a lot of these guys. You're gonna be like, whoa, like what the fuck? Like we're covering the top 16. A lot of these guys, their draft position is going to be affected by a strategy. People going QB early, people going running back heavy, which we're heavy on here on the Rumboyz Fantasy Network, so on and so forth. But yeah, quite a little bit of a roller coaster rookie campaign. He was pretty much for the first couple of months of the season, if you will, boom or bust, right? But I mean, after about week 11, and honestly, once Tannehill took over the reins, A.J. Brown was posting the second most fantasy points, and 4, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 top 10 weeks following the week 11 bye. To me, with the 5 top 10 outings for the season, only behind Michael Thomas for a league high, put this kid enough in the upper echelon to where I needed to lock him in at the top 16. Also, this is not going to be a Rumboyz list without us mentioning guys that we interviewed, guys that we got to sit down, talk about, got to personally know. He makes the list. He actually opens up the list for our 2020 wide receiver rankings. Remember, working from 16 all the way up to 1. You guys will have to tune into part 2 to get the rest of the rankings and to see where maybe a couple of the other guys are going to be landing. But again, 5 top 10 outings, trailing only behind Michael Thomas for a league high. I got to rock with AJ Brown at my 16th spot. 12.5 yards per target, and 9 yards 9 yards after the catch. I gotta love it. He only dropped 1 on 84 targets. A lot of people are saying that his TD rate is going to regress from the 8 TDs that he did have. I don't know about that. Unless you're talking about Derrick Henry getting heavily used in goal line situations. I expect Ryan Tannehill still kind of, just think it to A.J. Brown. I expect A.J. Brown's speed after he catches the ball to really show and showcase his skill set. Many people wanted to put A.J. Brown as a wide receiver 2. I mean, gosh, like if you can get A.J. Brown as a wide receiver 2 and any of these other guys as your wide receiver 1, you're probably sitting pretty if you got really good running backs in the first couple of rounds. But that's depending on your league, depending on your format. I'm putting A.J. Brown as my 16 right here. Could be a fringe wide receiver 2. He could be a back end wide receiver 1. I don't really know about the wide receiver 1 there. But definitely a guy that I'm willing to draft, that I'm honestly even willing to if I'm looking, if I'm desperately looking, let's say I go running back, and I'm desperately looking for a receiver at that point. I mean, this guy could very well maybe head up my roster, depending on what options are going to be out there. I love what Tannehill did with A.J. Brown last year. I can't get enough of A.J. Brown. And like I said, it wouldn't be a Rumboyz list if we weren't going to open up with at least one of our guys, and probably one of the more explosive receivers from last year out of that rookie class. A rookie class last year, that 2019 rookie class had a lot of explosive guys, but A.J. Brown, he caps it off out of the Rumboyz rookie class to start off as our wide receiver 16. Now getting into our wide receiver 15. A lot of people are going to be like, yo, you're starting off this list with guys that we wouldn't expect you to. And that's okay. And here's the reason why. All right, I'm going to go Calvin Ridley here next. All right. And you guys are going to notice that there may be some guys that are on similar offenses as some top-notch players. Calvin Ridley on the same offense as Julio Ridley. He did have 866 yards last year. But, I mean, it's something about, like, Atlanta, the Atlanta Falcons, they get these Alabama receivers and they turn them into production workhorses. I get it. 7 TDs last year. 13.7 average per catch, right? Homie had 93 targets, though. I mean, the workload is definitely there when you have a guy like Julio being double teamed on every route practically. Heavily rostered in every league, 96.4% owned right now. Entering his 3rd season, he's Atlanta's wide receiver 2. I've been in some leagues where people are making him a wide receiver one. I would still maybe try and get him as a 2, depending on how my draft falls. But with any of these guys, honestly, they're gonna be probably taken um, as teams wide receiver ones, or even maybe fall to you as wide receiver ones. That's why we're breaking down our top 16, right? We're breaking down our top guys, 1 through 12 that are probably going to be taken off the board. Your first 12 that are going to be taken off the board, and then maybe you can get a couple of these as your 2s if you're really lucky. At 69, let's see. The 2018 first round pick impressed during his first 2 campaigns, catching 69% of his passes, averaging a healthy 8.0 yards per target. I mean, so he's catching the ball, he's moving the rock whenever he's catching it, right? Really took a step forward last season and actually had one of his highest floors in fantasy, finishing 27th or better during 9 of his 13 outings. All right. Ending 14th at the position in fantasy points prior to week 14 season-ending abdomen injury, which he's completely fine for. And I think you guys can draft him and you don't have to worry about the injury. I think that you're fine when it comes to Ridley. Mohamed Sanu, not there anymore. Austin Hooper, not there anymore. All right. There's a clear safety net that makes Ridley the 2. I know that, yes, they acquire Hayden Hurst, and maybe Hayden Hurst attracts a little bit more attention. But am I willing to bet that it's significant higher amount more attention that doesn't make Ridley the safest wide receiver 2 possible on the market? You've got to be bugging. Like, I think that really has a clear safety net as a wide receiver 2. It's a clear option as a 2. And if I'm getting him as a 2, I'm happier than a pig in shit. And I really think that for a lot of you out there, you're going to end up with him as you could end up with him as a 2, especially with the way that these running backs are going to be going off the board in a lot of your leagues. So that's my take on Calvin Ridley. Tough division this year. They faced Tampa Bay twice. They faced Drew Brees and the Saints twice. Teddy Bridgewater and a new offense with the Panthers. I'm not too scared about the Panthers. We'll get into that later. But I think Ridley, viable option for damn sure. I want to keep the list rocking here, if you don't mind. It's really all that I have to touch on about Calvin Ridley here. I want to get into a guy that I have been high on since he entered the league, and that is Cooper Kupp. That is Cooper Kupp, the kid out of East Washington. Look, is this going to be another one of those, Robbie, you're kind of being biased here, rankings, kind of being biased type of picks? I'm going to be completely fucking honest. Yeah. It's going to be one of those, for the simple fact that when this man entered the league in 2017 and I saw his very first reception on a slant route in preseason for the Rams, I was like, he's going to be a fantasy gold mine. He's going to be a monster. And I haven't really been wrong about that. 94 receptions in 2019. A wow season, 1,161 yards, 10 TDs. He's going to be one of the only receivers, shout out to Real Deal Fantasy HQ for this stat. He is going to be one of the only receivers on this list that I mentioned that has double-digit TDs. And you're going to realize this throughout this ranking special. And I get that I'm basing these rankings via PPR. These are PPR rankings, okay? So I completely understand. I completely understand, where it's like, are you overhyped? Like, why aren't you putting Robert Woods higher? Like, don't believe me. It was hard to not group Robert Woods right in there with Calvin Ridley and A.J. Brown. I gave the edge to A.J. Brown once again. We interviewed him. I gave it to Calvin Ridley because Calvin Ridley stepped up and he proved himself, and it shows that he's just going to be a viable option for you despite Jones still being in that same offense. And I don't really – I'm high on Hayden Hurst as a tight end, but I don't think that he affects Ridley's production that much, right? So that's why Robert Woods isn't in this top 16 right now. Who knows where he's going to rank on the next episode of my wide receiver rankings. So I'm doing rankings all the way up till kickoff. Cooper Kupp is just that guy on the Los Angeles Rams team. I personally feel there are many analysts that are like, Woods, hands down, better. Cool, nice. Right on with you, brother. I get that it's a tricky evaluation because it was a bizarre, fucking crazy 2019, right? But during weeks 1 through 12, Kupp played 87% of the snaps and handled 25% of the target share. There's no Todd Gurley there in the running game, which I think that Goff is going to end up passing a lot more. I know there's a lot of hype around Joshua Kelly. And it looks like Joshua Kelly could possibly take over a huge load for the Rams backfield in regards to Henderson, who I'm not a fan of, who I did an interview, and I'm not a fan of. And in regards to Malcolm Brown, who I'm still skeptical over. It hasn't shown me enough to where I'm like, yeah, he'll take the job. So I think that Joshua Kelly could possibly emerge with that job there. If not now, then eventually. I don't think that the running game currently is gonna affect the Rams. Tyler Higbee did take on a larger role. The tight ends did take on a larger role. Weeks 13 through 17, dropping Cooper Kupp's rates from the 87% to 63%, and the target share from 25 to 15. And that's fine because they had to adjust. That team wasn't going to make it far if they didn't adjust, right? But no matter what, Coop still ended up 4th fantasy points. Also because of the strong start. And he had the 10 touchdowns. He had the 10 TDs, so it's really helped. There's no Brandon Cooks there, so you have to be looking at Cooper Kupp as potential wide receiver 1, maybe a wide receiver 2, maybe a wide receiver 2, maybe. And if you get him as a wide receiver 2, then my gosh, that means that your running back 1, your running back 2, and your wide receiver 1 are healthy as fuck, and you're probably drafting against some crazy mofos, honestly. I called him in 17. I'm not turning my back on him yet. I'm investing in an extra year in Cooper Kupp. I'd be willing to go out there and get him if I have the ability. He's likely to end up on a Rumboyz Robbie roster, So I'm in on Cooper Kupp. I know that a lot of people aren't. This list is probably going to be super unpopular to a lot of other analysts just because of where I got a lot of guys ranked. And what popular opinion may be and what my personal opinion is going to be. But guess what? They're my rankings. Yeah. Let's get into our very next wide receiver. And this is a wide receiver who all of you know I am super fond of. I have broken down film of him on sportscaster.com. If you haven't checked us out over on sportscaster.com, do so. That is no other than Tyler Lockett. A lot of people are putting DK over him. And I have DK right outside of my top 16. He's right outside. Same thing with Robert Woods. Right outside. Where I feel like, in all honesty, with the type of offenses that they're in, their positions with their respective personal and reality wide receiver twos could flip flop. Lockett hasn't proven to me that that Russell Wilson is suddenly going to go to DK Moore. I don't think that Lockett is fully 100% worked out of a job. I think that Lockett worked Baldwin out of a job. And I think that it's at least DK will work Lockett out of a job probably later in the year. Right? And they have great depth at wide receiver. The Seahawks and Russell Wilson has great chemistry with all the receivers. You see it on his Instagram and on his YouTube channel. I was take a sip of beer really quick. But I'm just not ready to be out on Lockett. The route running is pristine. The film speaks for itself. I'm not ready to do it. 110 targets, caught 82. He put up a thou 1,057 yards last year, 8 TDs, 12.9 yards per catch. I mean, that's really all that I'm gonna say there. A lot of people are trying to make him a wide receiver too, and I don't think that I'm ready for it. So that's as much as I have to go in. I think that it's just emotional investment there with Lockett. He's won me games. He's won me championships. Sorry, DK. DK, rock your Rumboyz shirt though. Rock your Rumboyz shirt. Like I mean that. I mean that. Rock your Rumboyz tee, please. Let's get into our next wide receiver. And this one, another guy who people are thinking that when DK made his way into Seattle last year, people are already starting to detract from Lockett. Okay. And I think that this next guy that we're going to talk about, this is the year where people are going to kind of taper off on him. And in a way, I think it might be for good reason with the new kid coming in town, but I'm still going to keep him in my rankings. I'm sure that when I redo this after a couple of weeks of NFL action, I'm going to move this guy down. He is the oldest one that we've mentioned so far on the list. And that is no other than Adam Thielen. Okay. At age 30, he put up 30 in terms of receptions last year, 418 yards, 6 TDs. There is now no more Stephon Diggs, but there is a Justin Jefferson. Okay. Thielen did miss 6 games due to injury last season, but previous to that, the dude has been completely fucking reliable. All right, we're not gonna deny Thielen's reliability prior to the injury. Okay, I still feel like the reason why I'm putting Thielen so high and I'm investing so much in Thielen in terms of just rankings. I'm not saying that he's going to end up personally on my roster, but when I look at just the typical landscape of where he could land, if I did have to grab him, or if you guys had to grab him, Thielen sat ninth prior to his Week 7 injury in 2019. I get that this is a run-heavy offense, but they're going to need to pass the ball at some point. He was a top 10 fantasy wide receiver finish in both 2017 and 2018. And like I said, he was just sitting right there at ninth prior to the Week 7 injury. So I think that Thielen is going to pick up where he left off because Kirk Cousins is a guy that's going to go to his guy. He's going to go to who his wide receiver one is. And that just sets Thielen up for a perfect opportunity to really develop and help mentor Justin Jefferson, and really eat, at least at the beginning first half of the season before Jefferson maybe takes over as the clear one. I'm not rushing to Jefferson being the clear one quite yet. I think that it can happen. I think that it will happen. I'm a huge Justin Jefferson truther early on right now, and the kid hasn't taken an NFL snap. But for right now, I am gonna position Thielen right there at 12. I'm just gonna roll right into number 11. Not even take my time. I'm gonna take a sip of beer really quick, but I'm gonna roll right into number 11, ladies and gentlemen. We just got done talking about a guy potentially that will convert into a wide receiver one coming from this school. And I just feel like that this school produces great wide receivers. And we're talking about right now at number 11, Odell Beckham. Was drafted in 2014 as first overall, or I'm sorry, not first overall, in the first round, 12th overall. Coming out of LSU, LSU produces great receivers, and they always have. And honestly, I think that they're always going to. They produce great receivers and great DBs. 74 receptions last year. He still had 1,000-yard season last year. He had 4 TDs. Average 14 yards. But Odell, here's the thing with Odell, and here's why Odell is so fucking talented, right? Like, Odell is massively, massively talented. But all right, his production is predicated on 2 things. And I'm just going to be very blunt with it. Odell Beckham's production is predicated on 2 things, and those 2 things are going to be who his quarterback is and the quarterback's ability to get him the ball and get him the ball accurately. That's step 1. And then step 2, his ability to keep his inner wide receiver diva in check. Like, every wide receiver wants the ball. Every wide receiver wants to make the big catch. And honestly, I think that's why he tries to go for every fucking ball with one hand. And Odell, you were targeted 133 times. You only caught the ball 74 times. I think it's time that you start making sure that you're looking it in, grasping that motherfucker with 2 hands. And I get that a portion at 133 and only catches 74, I get that a portion of that could be because Baker's inaccuracy. But, and just but. Like, honestly, it's just going to be but, bro. Like, you're kind of almost at the point where, like, career overall, you're dropping just as half of what you're catching. 758 over your career. You've caught 464. And I get that you had Eli Manning on the back end. And you're having, this fresh kid in Baker Mayfield. Like, you don't exactly have fucking Mahomes throwing to you, right? You don't have Russell Wilson throwing to you. But with that being said, I do expect that Odell is going to take a leap and he's going to progress because he is just that talented. This is another receiver that I'm kind of not really ready to back out on, because he is so talented. That's really all that I have to say about the 27-year-old wide receiver. 27 years old. I'm still expecting some great things out of you. I'm still expecting for you to leave your mark on the game. Mid to back end wide receiver 2, possibly. Like, depending on how heavy, like how you're drafting. I don't want him as a wide receiver 1, though. Like, if I had him as a wide receiver 2, I'd be fucking happier than a pig in shit. If he's my wide receiver 1, I know that I'm exiting that draft with a little bit of bubblies in my stomach, and it's not because of the rum. I'm probably looking at homies in the draft room, and I'm like, hey, you guys, you want to make some trades? And I'm probably making some trades in regards to Odell Beckham Jr. Um, I hope that he doesn't see touchdown regression. I hope that he doesn't see regression at all. I hope that Stefanski makes the Cleveland offense a lot more sufficient. Pounds a rock with Chubb to open up things in the passing game, open up the passing scheme, and Odell just completely fucking feast. Baker has a lot of weapons. Like, there's so many weapons. You got Odell, you got Landry, and they just paid Austin Hooper. Fuck. Like, somebody has to be the king of the crop for this Cleveland Browns team. And honestly, like, I'm just hoping that Odell can do something. For some fact of me not being wrong of ranking him this damn high as putting him at wide receiver 11. Shit, let's dive into to my wide receiver 10. Let's dive into my wide receiver 10. Out of Maryland, the 23-year-old DJ Moore. Now, I remember, I don't know if you guys remember, Steve Smith's video questioning if DJ Moore was really going to be a wide receiver 1 or not, right? And which I still question till this day. Like, it took a lot of heavy convincing, for me to put him as wide receiver 10. There are some very, very, very talented receivers here that I think if it weren't for this being a new QB in this system, that I probably would have not put DJ Moore as high. But it's a new QB, and he's going to have to go to somebody. And DJ Moore has been acclimated to the system to where, bro, you need to really erupt. Like, you really need to erupt. Curtis Samuel's still there. Curtis Samuel's still a baller. They brought in Robbie Anderson. Your tight end game right now, like, really isn't shit. Like, you have no tight end. Like, Ian Thomas is okay. Like, Ian Thomas ain't making nobody's fucking top 10 rankings, bro. When it comes to tight ends, like, nobody has Ian Thomas in their top 10. So I mean, DJ Moore has to be the clear-cut wide receiver 1 in Carolina for those reasons that I just mentioned. He did have 1,175 yards last year. With Kyle Allen throwing to him, 87 receptions, 4 TDs, 13.5 average. I'm not hating on the kid. I just think that he has to earn some more respect. And if Carolina fans are like, you're disrespectful to DJ Moore, you put him at 10, I'm like, bro, like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, the industry consensus is pretty much 9, and my hating ass put him at 10. Do your research before coming at me over DJ Moore. I just think that there's more work to do for him as a receiver. If he proves me wrong throughout like the first 6 weeks, dude, I'll completely shut the fuck up over DJ Moore, and I'll let you guys take DJ Moore. I'll let Fantasyland have that victory and ride that one into the sunset. Me personally, I think it's more so that I'm just not a fan than anything else. I think that it's just that I'm just not a fan. I'm probably not gonna be a fan. I'm not anticipating becoming a fan. But bro, your top 10, like, you can't be mad at top 10. Clock management, what is good? Clock management here for the wide receiver rankings over here on Sportscaster. Dilly. Hey, Clock, let me know if you ever stream on Sportscaster, bro. Like, if you ever do like something quick or whatever, let me know. let's go ahead here. Let's get into our next ranking. And now the list is about to really start getting interesting. So, excuse me. Many of you are probably looking at the cover photo on the green screen on this YouTube and wondering, yo, he just put Allen Robinson as the cover athlete for wide receiver rankings. First off, he had the best edit that I could have chosen from. Second off, 98 receptions, 7th at the position, 1,147 yards, making him 14th, 7 TDs, 11.7 average. Like I'm not hating on Allen Robinson, especially when you had a freaking trash bag like Mitch Trubisky throwing to you. If Nick Foles comes into the fold, I expect Allen Robinson to still eat. Allen Robinson, he's shown he showed that even after 2017, his ACL injury in 2017, that he can still come out and be a baller. Yeah, I had to transition to fucking Chicago in 18. Yeah, I had to get acclimated, but I just feel like like that Robinson is just such a beast, such a fucking beast, and you got to be able to PPR formats go out there and get this guy. Once again, another name that like shit. If he's the wide receiver one, am I nervous? A little. Is he gonna produce? It's pretty much the only option to produce there. Riley Ridley was drafted last year. We haven't seen him, kind of step into his own. Cornell Patterson, of all people, is bragging about, the upgrade of Mitch this year and saying that Mitch is looking nice this year, which I'm not buying. Every receiver says that every training camp about the quarterback. I've been interested to see how things play out. You could mark Robinson honestly kind of like as like boomer bust, like for real. Like you could mark Robinson as kind of like a boomer bust and like not really know what to take from there or what to really expect. It's tough when you're going to be grading Chicago wide receivers. It's tough when you're grading Chicago wide receivers now, and I'll say that. But we are going to move on from Allen Robinson into a high-power receiver who has just been consistent in fantasy his whole entire fantasy career. For the most part, it's really hard to drop this guy in rankings, especially when his wide receiver two, kind of, in my opinion, especially when I look at film, became his wide receiver one. But that is Mike Evans, who we're talking about right now. He does have Tom Brady as his new QB, so that is gonna that is gonna help. It is no longer Jameis Winston. Excuse me. It is no longer Jameis Winston. Evans did put together 4 consecutive seasons as a top 17 fantasy wide receiver. But with Tom Brady in town, that shit's definitely going to improve. Like, that's going to go through the roof. When you have a 6-time winning Super Bowl, both Evans and Chris Godwin's value produces at a significant rate, increases at a significant rate. We already saw what famous Jameis, crab leg Jameis, did with Evans last year, did with Godwin last year. We really saw what he did with Godwin last year. So, I meing, Evans, he's never finished lower than 9th in end zone targets. Last year he had his 3rd top 10 fantasy campaign because of the end zone targets. The guy's a big play guy, and he's going to catch those low percentage routes at the goal line for you to get you big time points. Not mad at having this pick. Not mad at having Evans you're with Tampa Bay, you're banking on either Evans or Godwin to really produce for you, is what's happening there. So when you're drafting between the two, and depending on which one you're drafting, you're really hoping for the best of the best. I think that both guys are going to give you wow seasons. I think that both guys are going to give you wow seasons this year, possibly. But I mean, hell, only time was tell that they had wow. They both were wow receivers last year. This offense is enough for both of them to eat. Draft all the fucking Buccaneers at this point. I'm kidding. But yeah, I love Mike Evans. He's never really gonna let you down. He hasn't let you down yet since being in the league. So I'm rocking with Mike Evans. Who we're about to talk about next here? All right. Now, I have mentioned him on How Fantasy Friendly. I'm sorry that we kind of had to stall How Fantasy Friendly. But I talked about this guy before on How Fantasy Friendly, and that is no other than Kenny Galladay. So Kenny Galladay caught on 116 targets, caught 65 receptions, 1,190 yards. Receiving 11 TDs. This is the other guy that I was telling you was going to be the only other receiver on this list that was going to have double-digit touchdowns. So only Cooper Kupp and Kenny Galladay, shouts to Real Deal Fantasy HQ for this stat, were the only two receivers to end in double-digit touchdowns last year. And in a way, I kind of think that at least one of the two will repeat that again. And if either of them is going to do it, it's really going to be Kenny Galladay. Kenny Galladay practically has put this Detroit team on his back since being drafted in 2017 for the wide receiver position. I really enjoy watching Kenny Galladay play. He balls out, fucking fearless when he goes out to play. I've said so much positive about him, and I mean, fantasy's reigning number 9 receiver. I think and him emerging as Detroit's top weapon, putting him at 7 this year is not a far stretch. The fact that this guy went out and performed with a man named David Blau as his quarterback, wide receiver won it up, dude. Like, wide receiver won it up. Like, let me get that. Like, let me own as many shares of Goliday as possible. And I'm completely fucking fine with it. Like, I'm so okay with it because there's a sleeper on this roster by the name of Marvin Jones that is gonna eat for you later on, or eat for you maybe at a flex, if not even a flex. Like, just, dude, this. Okay. I don't even know why I brought up Marvin Jones. That was fucking stupid. You know what? Strike for the record. Just, we're fantasizing over Kenny Galladay right now. He like I said, you gotta go out there and you gotta get as many shares of him. Definite wide receiver 1 material. And fuck, like, dude, like, that's all that I have to say. That's all that I have to say in regards to Galladay. Let's go ahead now. Let's dive into wide receiver 6. Let's dive into our wide receiver 6 here, and that's going to be Chris Godwin, ladies and gentlemen. So Chris Godwin, 86 receptions. I love this number here because I can't make this up. This is literally how many yards he had. 1,333. 333. That's pretty fucking awesome. That's pretty rad, actually. Chris Godwin. I called it early. I said that, man, he's eventually gonna ball out and maybe outdo Mike Evans. People thought it was crazy. Ty Boogie thought it was crazy. It ended up happening, and that's why he's outranking Mike Evans here on my rankings. Godwin ending at or landing at wide receiver 6. Oh shit! Damn, I didn't even roll my Kenny Galladay graphic. What the fuck? What the fuck? Wow. Anyways, let's get into it. Let's get into some Godwin talk. So, as Bogart of the Real Deal Fantasy, oh wow, as Bogart would say of the GMM Network, he has God, he has win in his name. He's gonna go out there and he's gonna win. Having a new quarterback like Tom Brady, someone that's not gonna throw 30 interceptions, it just works out. I mean, Godwin finished 4th in the position. In catch rate at 72%, yards after catch 6.6, and he was first in first down rate at 50%. 9 TDs. Like I have no hate here. Is there going to be regression? It's going to depend on who Brady leans on more. I think that Brady is looking at what Jameis Winston did is like, yo, that was entering last season. That was supposed to be Jameis Winston's wide receiver 2, and Godwin became wide receiver 1, pretty fucking much. Like, to be honest, in that offense, like the weeks that I had Godwin, I was so happy. Godwin was way more reliable most weeks, week in and week out, than Evans would have been, which is. And we're talking about splitting hairs when it comes to the two. We're really talking about splitting hairs when it comes to the two. Which one would I have more, Evans or Godwin? It depends on the price that you're willing to pay. But goddamn, if you can end up with Godwin, and if you have Godwin, like, either A, your wide receiver is going to be getting you a lot of points, or B, probably get ready to trade him to have some reliable running backs, because you probably missed out on some damn good running backs potentially to go and get Godwin. Maybe not. Who knows? I mean, it depends on your league, but in every league that I've been in, I have not been able to get Godwin, and Godwin's the one guy that I really want. Like, can there just be a league where I end up with him? And it's just, it hasn't happened in the draft so far. We'll see what's going to happen in the future, but fuck. So tough. And he gave Brady the number 12, so, he's rocking number 14 this year. Next up, we have Devonte Adams. We have Devonte Adams here on my rankings, and a lot of people, I've been seeing him. People have been kind of flipping Devonte Adams, right? Either he's their 4th or he's their 5th. I'm gonna say this with Devonte Adams, okay? You have at least missed a game every season, and last year you missed 4 games. And then already in training camp, I'm hearing reports about your hamstrings kind of not, holding up. And that's what makes me worry. Last year was, I believe, and I may say corrected, you missed your 1,000-yard season by 3 yards. 997, you came up short, right? Still have the 5 CDs. We know that Aaron Rodgers, like, when you have Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback, it's going to rank you high as hell. You're a clear-cut number one. You're talented as fuck. Draft rank 16. You're completely rosterable. I just worry about the injuries here. I just worry about the injuries, which is why I did not put Devonte Adams at 4. I did put Adams at 5. Because without a doubt, he's Aaron Rodgers' unquestioned number one target. I'm just scared if he will stay healthy, But it doesn't matter, honestly, because he's at least going to. All right, how do I put this? All right, he had a career high of 31% target share, and was fantasy's number 2 scoring wide receiver during the 12 weeks that he was active last season. Homie can ball. His hamstrings have to hold up. He finished as a top 5 wide receiver in 42% of those outings, only to trail behind Michael Thomas. It's really just durability. Like, we're really just questioning durability. He missed at least one regular season game due to injury in the past 3 seasons and missed 4 in 2019. I think, showed us a flash of Adams with the injury bug. And he already, Adams returned to practice yesterday, but already had to deal with a foot ankle injury. It was a minor foot ankle injury, but those injuries. Adams is 27. The closer you get to 30, the more the body hurts. You know what I mean? So that's what we're dealing with Devonte Adams. Next man up that we're going to talk about here is going to be no other than, well, surprise, Kansas City Chiefs owned Tyreek Hill. Now, I'm going to be honest. I know what a lot of people are saying here. Let me go ahead and pull them up. I know what a lot of people are saying right here in regards to Reek. Bro, Travis Kelsey is in that offense. Doesn't it seem like Travis Kelsey to you is more or less the likely wide receiver 1? Yeah, like he's, you gotta remember. 1, he plays tight end. 2, yeah, Mahomes is gonna find Kelsey, but 3, fucking Tyreek Hill is the cheetah, bro. Like, what are we worrying about? Target share from Travis Kelsey. Like, bro, if I could get that Kansas City Chiefs team is so explosive to where you can draft any given one of those players at any position. We need to really stop comparing position to position with this team and debating how one position affects the other, because all of these guys can realistically get you fantasy championships, especially in the passing game. When we talk about the ones, like the same argument that you're gonna fucking make for Kelsey or for Kelsey eating into Hill's share, you're gonna make for Hill eating into Kelsey's share. So I'm done with that, with the bass backwardsness of the fantasy industry in regards to Tyreek Hill. The man is a freaking speed demon. He's a baller, shot caller, 22-inch rims on the Impaler. All right, that was just too much, and I did the most there. But still, like, I'm not willing to. I'm willing to go and get Tyreek Hill as a wide receiver 1. He definitely is going to be a wide receiver 1. I get it, 860 yards, 7 TDs, but bro, like I think that could even improve this year. Like I think that the TD numbers, he could at least get you one more or like two more TDs. Like I think he could end with like 9 TDs this year because he's just that fast. Who are you? Who are you defending on this offense? Again, we brought up Travis Kelsey, Mecole Hardman. Mecole Hardman's gonna bust out too, bro. Mecole Hardman is going to be a great wide receiver too for you because of the speed of Tyreek Hill and fucking just the explosiveness of Travis Kelsey. I have Hill over Adams. I have Hill over Adams. And you worry about the exact same thing, honestly, with both of them in regards to their legs. But I'm rocking with Hill. Like I think that that's just more so like me being. I think that's more so honestly just me being a fan of Hill more so, and that's why I put him over Devonte Adams. That's really what that was. That's what came into play with that. Where I'm not even going to deny it. I'm not even going to deny it. Let's get in to our wide receiver 3. Ladies and gentlemen, Julio Jones. Now, I know what some of you guys out there are probably thinking. He doesn't get the touchdowns. He got you 6 last year. He gets the goddamn yards, though, man. 1,394 yards. He had 99 receptions last year on 157 targets. Again, this Atlanta offense with these Alabama receivers, bro, like they just know what they're doing. Everyone's like, Julio's 31. Drop him in your rankings. Make him 4. Make him 5. Like, nah, dude. Like, you're bugging. This is the quintessential like wide receiver. Like, this is what scouts dream of whenever they go and scout wide receivers. 1 second. Pardon my cough. I get it. He's gonna underwhelm you in the touchdown department, but he definitely makes up for that with the massive targets. 10.5 per game over the last 2 seasons, and he ranked among the top 3 receivers in each of the past 6 seasons in receiving yardage. You're not gonna get. You're just not gonna replace numbers like that. I'm not worried about Julio Jones's age, and I'm not worried about Calvin Ridley emerging as emerging honestly as just an understudy. I just feel like Ridley is an understudy at this point. That's why I still have Julio so damn high. And you guys are bugging if you don't have Julio just as high. Let's see here. Next up, we gotta go with this man here. We gotta talk about him in his new home, in his new digs with the Arizona Cardinals. This dude was 3rd most in receptions last year, 104. I just want to remind people really quick when it comes to D-Hop. Tom Savage was his quarterback at one time. Osweiler was his quarterback at one point in time. Like, this man is gonna ball. And I know a lot of people are like, man, like I was, especially Dynasty has, like, I was so ready for Hakeem Butler. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry that we're gonna pump the brakes on Hakeem Butler and Andy Isabella for just a little bit longer. Maybe they get moved to different teams, following training camp. Like, I don't know, but when you bring in or Larry Fitzgerald probably retires at the end of this year, who knows how Arizona has weapons for plenty of years to come. Point blank being 1,165 yards, 4 hop, 7 TDs last season. while he was still with the Houston Texans. Bob let him go for pretty much a fucking bag of chips and David Johnson. Dude, he's a top 5 fantasy wide receiver in 4 of the past 5 seasons. Like, I'm putting him up at 2. And maybe that's just me being like, D-Hop, like, you always ball out, and it doesn't matter who throws to you. You're just always a top 10 guy no matter what. That's why I'm like, next to Michael Thomas, who am I really fucking ranking? You know, between 1 and 2. Like, who am I really going to be putting at 1 and 2? Even at 28 years old, the man's an elite wide receiver. He should definitely be either your 1 or your 2 all off the board when it comes to the receiver category. That's just my personal opinion. And he's got Kyler Murray thrown into him. Like, I expect Kyler Murray to just improve and take a step forward. Air raid offense, Cliff Kingsbury. You got a great and Larry Fitzgerald as well. Christian Kirk, like, there's just so much talent. Hopkins averaged 10.5 targets per game. During that span of his past 5 seasons of finishing as a top 5 fantasy wide receiver. I think he can still hit that in Arizona. I don't think that changes with Kyler Murray being the QB. Deshaun Watson was the best quarterback that Hopkins ever fucking had in Houston, and I think that Kyler Murray will be just as comparable as a Watson or as anything else that D-Hop has ever had in his entire fucking career. So there you have it in regards to DeAndre Hopkins. And we now have our final clear-cut wide receiver 1 that we're going to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. And before we get into our wide receiver 1, I want to remind everyone, make sure you guys check us out on sportscaster.com. Hit us up on rumboyz.com. Rumboyz.com is where you can find the latest, greatest articles. Oh my gosh, Allen Robinson, you're fading out right now. You're dying behind me because we're losing light. We're losing daylight right now. But yeah, hit us up, rumboyz.com, for the latest and greatest in articles and so on and so forth. Check out our merch line over there at rumboyz.com as well. This is the Rumboyz Fantasy Network. We're taking care of you on all sports analysis. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, our number 1 wide receiver on the list that we're going to be talking about here, it's no other than Michael Thomas. All right. And I feel like that no matter where I've looked, Fantasy Pros, though Bobby Sylvester has Michael Thomas as 1. Matthew Berry and Field Yates have Michael Thomas as 1. I have Michael Thomas as 1. Clock Management has Michael Thomas as 1. GM Network, Michael Thomas as 1. I don't think that I've met, I believe even the Fantasy Football Show, Schmitty has him as 1. Hell, Counselor's crazy ass has Michael Thomas as a clear 1. I don't know anyone that does not have Michael Thomas as a clear pick for a wide receiver 1, right? With that being said, with that being stated, 149 receptions, 1,725 yards, and 9 TDs, just outside of that double-digit mark right there. He was 4th in TDs. Guys, you gotta love Michael Thomas. It speaks for itself. He has Drew Brees, one of the greatest of all time, as his quarterback. Like, I really do not need to spend a whole lot of time on Thomas's massive 32.5% target share. He's your guy by far. He's your guy by far. pretty much beat out the next closest wide receiver by 99 fantasy points to end the year. Yeah, cool. Emmanuel Sanders is there now, but I'm really not bugging over that. I'm not tripping over that. Michael Thomas is going to eat for you irregardless. Clear number one pick. We can't indulge enough on Michael Thomas. He's done it enough for himself on Instagram and Twitter. Hashtag can't guard bite at can't guard bite. So, ladies and gentlemen, those are my rankings. That's how I feel about my 2020 fantasy football wide receiver rankings. That's just my top 16. I'll have more for you guys to come. If there's any debate, right, like anything that you guys want to say, hey, no, like I disagree, like I don't agree with that, you're stupid, whatever, like comment, like let me know. Drop that below in the comment section. Make sure that you subscribe. Like even if you hate my take, subscribe so that we can argue back and forth. Like I feel like that's a perfect reason to subscribe to someone is because they have a different opinion than you. Even if you agree, that's another great reason to subscribe. That really, really is another great reason to subscribe because like now I have someone that gets along with me. Either way, two different reasons there as to why you should support the Rumboyz Fantasy Network. I appreciate everyone on Sportscaster. Brad Sports came through here on the stream. I appreciate everyone that came through on sportscaster.com for the exclusive witness to all like the technical difficulties and everything. You too. I'll be dropping this to you guys later today. And I hope that you guys enjoy. K Beer Champ 66, thank you for joining on Sportscaster right here as we're going to close out. Make sure you guys check out sportsbetmvp.ag, promo code RUMMVP. Again, that is RUMMVP over there on SportsBetMVP for all of your sportsbook and casino action. $25, your first bet, risk-free. Get on over there. Check it out when you would use our promo code. Big shout out to monkeyknifefight.com. Promo code Rumboyz in all caps. Make sure that you guys get over to monkeyknifefight.com. Check out all of our daily fantasy action over there. Football is just around the corner. You're going to want to sign up, create an account because we're matching you on deposits all the way up to $50. Holla, holla, holla on monkeyknifefight.com. So you're going to want to get over there and bet with all of the monkeys fighting with knives at monkeyknifefight.com. Promo code Rumboyz. It's Liddy. And yeah, that's really about it. Sportscaster.com. Sportscaster, the app on all Apple iOS devices. Make sure you guys download it. Head over there. Check out the Rumboyz and all of your other favorite colored commentators. If you have a podcast, even, you should check out doing a live edition of your podcast over there on sportscaster.com. Just like the Rumboyz do. The Rumboyz do it each and every time that we stream. We're almost at 1,000 streams over there. Just about almost around about a hundo away from 1,000 streams over there. So big shout out to Sportscaster and big shout out to everyone that supports us over there. We love you guys. We love you guys a whole hell of a lot. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you follow the Rumboyz at Rumboyz, spelled with a Z, N-E-T, on all social media. Again, that is at Rumboyz, spelled with a Z, N-E-T, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, whatever the fuck. Like, we got you. Like, we're taking care of you, all right? Hey, cheers to me. Cheers to you. All the boys and girls, what it do. Dilly dilly. Hey, play my fucking outro. We did this damn thing on this episode. Dilly dilly.